Hello and welcome to Big Deal. As India fights the COVID challenge, for corporate India, it has helped to the medical infrastructure of the country wherever it's lacking has been pouring in. And the most important critical aspects for India Inc. currently is business continuity, survival, along with employee welfare and safety. To discuss all that and more, we have with us Amit Kalyani of Bharat Forge and Bhargav Das Gupta of ICICI Lombard joining us on CNBC TV18. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for sparing time at these difficult times to speak to us. Now, Amit Kalyani, coming first to you, you have a large group with several, different verticals as well, including steel, apart from the auto component in which you're a big leader. What are the big efforts that have been made by the group to fight the COVID challenge?
So, first of all, thank you for inviting me. And, the first priority for us has been to make sure that all our employees and everyone working in our company and our ecosystem is well and healthy. Obviously, COVID, especially the second wave, has been very hard hitting across our part of the country, and we have had quite a few people who fell sick, and we put in place a lot of measures to take care of our people, educate our people, and also to make the working environment safe and healthy. We vaccinated more than 95% of our employees who are 45 plus. And once the vaccine is available, we will also vaccinate all the 18 plus employees as well. We have set up a dedicated vaccination center right next to our plant where people can get vaccinated. We are daily monitoring every department by the department head and counter-checked by HR. People who are sick are being looked after in various different ways. Either they're under home quarantine or they're under medical treatment, or if they're in the ICU, then even our company doctors are consulting with their hospitals and making sure that they're getting all the required help. We've also tied up with a couple of hospitals in Pune where they have the latest and the best capabilities, and people who are, let's say, more seriously ill are being transferred to these facilities. All this is being done, and obviously we are conducting RT-PCR tests for all our employees on a frequent basis so that they can come to work. Besides that, we've created a dedicated COVID war room with a 24-hour helpline where anybody can call and seek help. We have virtual consultants. We're putting in place a lot of preventive care, and we're also providing mental and psychological support to people who are going through a difficult time because of family members being ill or other concerns that they may have. In addition, we are also supporting a... Sorry, go ahead.
No, please go ahead, Amit Kalyani.
So in addition to that, we're doing a lot of other things for the city of Pune and for people at large. We have supported a 100-bed COVID hospital in Pune. We are also manufacturing N95 masks in our facility in Hyderabad. And we have supplied several 100,000 such masks to people who are in direct contact with large numbers of people, such as CISF, police, medical personnel, frontline workers. We are extending help to several NGOs. We're doing things both big and small. For example, a lot of last year medical students are now being asked to work in hospitals. A lot of these people don't have food and other facilities being made, and frontline workers don't have access to the ability to go home and cook. So we're providing cooked meals from our cafeterias and canteens to these people, 1,000 meals at 2 times a day, so that people can at least make sure they don't have to worry about that. You very accurately mentioned about the steel companies. So we have a steel plant in Hospet where we are currently supplying about 120 metric tons of liquid oxygen to various hospitals. We have developed a 32-bed quarantine center which can be used by the community. And we have also vaccinated all our employees there. This is for our steel plant in Hospet. Our steel plant in Pune is currently shut. We have shut it right from the middle of April because all the oxygen that we use is now being diverted for medical purposes. And we have a liquid oxygen storing facility which we are now converted so that the cylinders can be filled out of this facility and then distributed. So that frees up some large cryo tanks which can be used for bringing in facility, bringing in oxygen into the city. Besides that, when the first wave of COVID hit, we recognized the need for ventilators. We tied up with the NASA Jet Propulsion Lab, and we, under their license, manufactured a pre-ICU class ventilator called Vital, which is FDA approved. And this is a product that meets 80 to 85% of the customers or the patients' needs. And this is a much, let's say, more affordable solution and a much more effective solution for people in these times. We have also developed a high flow nasal oxygen device, which has been supplied to many hospitals. And we're very happy to report that both of these have been deployed and are actually providing critical life-saving support. We are also now developing, or in the final stages of developing, an ICU-grade ventilator named Pufferfish, which is in collaboration with Stanford and Brown and organizations like Waymo, which is part of Google. And what we have learned is that we have a lot of capability, and if you direct it towards a mission with purpose, you can do miracles. For example, recently we were challenged by the PMO and the governmental system to see if oxygen cylinders can be made in aluminum, because these aluminum cylinders are significantly lighter and more portable and can be even used at home and can be carried by people if they need to go to hospital or anywhere. And so we have converted one of our manufacturing lines to produce these cylinders. We have now, I think, established the product, and we are now waiting for very soon the orders or to be released. And we have created a capacity to make 1,000 such cylinders a day. So these are the kind of things that we're doing to make India Atmanirbhar. And the last thing I'd like to say is this project Heal India,
so aluminium cylinders.
Heal India is a project where a doctor of Indian origin from Mount Sinai, that is Dr. Ashutosh Tiwari, and my father, Baba Kalyani, and Shri Anupam Kher have come together to provide life-saving equipment to hospitals in India. So it's been 25 ventilators, 100 ResMed devices, and 100 oxygen concentrators have already come in and are being distributed to hospitals in tier 2 cities. And the last thing I want to mention is that we have now undertaken, under a license from DRDO, manufacturing of 500 liter per minute oxygen plants, which can be put in hospitals. It's almost like a skid-mounted plant, and these will be supplied to hospitals where they can support between 25 and 50 beds per one plant. And these plants are very quick to set up and very easy to use. So this is what we are doing, and I hope that whatever we are doing, thanks to organizations like CSIR, which has worked on the oxygen plant with us, and other organizations that are supporting us, such as Stanford and NASA. The whole world is coming together to support India. So thank you.
Right. Yes. So Amit Kalyani, a long list of aspects that the group is working on, and several manufacturing companies in their own way are utilizing their resources for medical purposes. So that's clearly commendable, and we have seen some innovation as well on that front. You mentioned the aluminium cylinder for oxygen as well. Let me take it across to Bhargav Dasgupta. Thanks for waiting by patiently, Bhargav. So help me understand. Now, obviously, ICICI Lombard, an insurance company, it's not about a manufacturing unit. I would say that most of the people would be privileged enough to have the ability of working from home, but that has its own challenges. How has your company really taken strides in terms of coping with this and also making a difference in the society to fight the situation?
Thank you, Nisha. Thank you for inviting us. I also want to take this opportunity to wish all your viewers good health. I guess all of us are going through very difficult times, and we need each other's support. I was listening to Amit. It was quite remarkable what the Kalyani Group has done. Maybe separately I'll reach out to you to understand what we can do together. Now, in terms of the way we approach this, we looked at 4 key stakeholders. We are a services company in insurance, which obviously has a lot of relevance at this point in time. So the 4 stakeholders that we thought about were our employees, our customers, our agents and distributors, and society at large. Now, you're absolutely right. We are, in a sense, in an industry where you can actually start working from home, but you still have to find ways to service customers when claims come, right? And, while as an organization, we were probably a lot more digitized than most, none of us ever prepared for a situation where our, normal processing center will have to be shut down, and our business continuity plan that we have, where we have alternate, offices, that also to be shut down. So one of the first things that we did was we had to organize ourselves in a manner where keeping employee safety as paramount, where we protected people. We ensured that the service delivery to our customers were not hampered. I mean, this included providing mobile-based telephony services to our call center employees who actually receive calls for taking claims, and let's say our processing center for processing health claims in this period. So it was initially a bit of a firefighting. That was the phase one, but thankfully we had as I said, we were already a lot more digitized, so we were to a large extent prepared for this. The second wave, in that sense, the preparation to adapt to this environment has not been that big a challenge, but the real challenge in this phase has been the scale of the numbers that we are seeing. And it's not just our customers, it's also our employees. So let me just talk about what we've done for each of these stakeholders. So for our employees, one of the this year, what we've announced in this current phase is, of course, we are providing vaccination support to all our employees, their family members, etc. 45 plus is largely done. Below 45, we are waiting for supply. That's something that we announced long back. We've also announced a slew of measures for our employees, including providing home-based, financial support for home-based care, where you don't need hospitalization. When you get hospitalized, there is an insurance policy that pays for the hospitalization. But when it's home-based care, normally you have to put it out of your pocket. We've provided 10,000 rupees per individual family member as an additional financial support. We've provided 2-month salary advance because for certain strata of our employee base, the expenses are very high. So we provided 2-month advance salary, which can be adjusted over a period. We've provided additional COVID leave. You have a situation where 3-4 members of your family are affected. You are consuming entire leave that you have as an individual. We have a policy within the organization where you can donate leave, but even that may not be enough in this situation. So we've provided additional leave. Plus, we have some of these counseling session facilities where you can reach out to our trained counselors for when you need any of the support on a confidential basis. You get that. We have a team of in-house doctors who are advising you when you need support for a COVID ailment. We have teleconsulting that we anyway have as a service, and we have set up a dedicated team which is helping people get facilities. Again, we have part of our business, we work with hospitals. We are helping our employees as well in these times. When it comes to customers, what we had done right at the beginning of the pandemic, last year was we had realized some of the challenges that people will face. One was ability to send physical bills, right? So we said, scanned copy of your bills will be accepted for claim payment. We said that you can't, for some treatments, you don't want to go to a hospital because it's not a COVID treatment. You prefer, home-based care. We, with specific permission from IRDA, we allowed home-based care for our customers. It was first of its kind in the industry. We also said that we have a teleconsulting facility. It's a paid service for some of our customers. We opened it up for all our retail customers. So you have a doctor on call available at any point in time. On our app, we have an app called I'll Take Care, on which you can take those services. We also said that normally when you have a claim, your subsequent year, the additional sum insured that you normally get for health insurance for not claiming normally would go, right, because you've claimed for a COVID situation. We said that as an exception, we will not take away your additional sum insured, even though it may have been for because it's COVID is something that you couldn't have anticipated. So that's a special benefit that we give our customers. And the waiting period for any treatment normally is 30 days. For COVID, we reduced it to 15 days. So these were some of the things that we did for our customers. For our agents and our distributors, there was some of these services in terms of teleconsulting, in terms of counseling support, etc. All of that was made available. But we also did a lot of work in terms of helping them do business digitally, both sourcing and servicing customers. And on the community side, last year as also this year, we've announced, a slew of measures that we want to do.
All right, Bhargav Dasgupta, lots of efforts taken, but one thing that stands out is the customer support and making life easier for the patients. And you have a critical role to play as an insurance company in this. We'll take it forward in the other segment right after this short break on what are the efforts and how are companies really dealing with the business continuity and survival aspect in these times. Stay tuned to Big Deal. Welcome back. You're watching Big Deal and we are discussing corporate India's efforts to combat the COVID challenge. Amit Kalyani, speaking of the sector that you belong to, now automakers have really announced a lot of production cuts. We've had statements coming out from all the major companies on how either they will be taking a planned shutdown or else reducing their volumes, and a lot of pressure from demand is also expected. So besides taking care of the employees' livelihood is going to be very important, and survival of business is extremely important at this point. What is the outlook that you want to give in the present scenario as things are changing very fast for an auto component major like yourself?
That's a great question. And, prior to, let's say, end of March, we were starting to see a lot of traction and growth coming with the previous COVID situation recovering and vaccinations rolling out and people's optimism being built up. And everybody had forecasted a big growth for the first 2 quarters of the year. So once this second wave hit, I think, and the reality sank into everyone that it's not an isolated event in one part of the country, it's all over. I think people have started seeing that the retail sales have started going down and therefore people have started cutting production. But if you look at the other markets where we operate, such as the US, such as Europe, the vehicle sales are at peak levels. And this is some kind of a pent-up demand being released, because those markets also were impacted by COVID, but in some of those markets, the countries being much smaller than India, they have managed to vaccinate a large number of their people. So with that, they are starting to see business resume to normalcy. And talking to our customers in India, what we believe is that whatever they lose out now, they will try to make up in the second half, and they will all, push pedal to the metal in the second half. One of the factors which in a way is a blessing that they've shut down right now is that a lot of companies were facing a cut because of the semiconductor shortage. So that will no longer impact these companies because they are anyway taking a break from production. So we expect the second half to be very strong. I mean, significantly stronger than first half for sure. And, provided that the vaccination rolls out, then the, people's confidence will come back and the business momentum will pick up. I hope that, there are a lot of companies that are not particularly financially strong and they would need some financial support either from the banking industry or banking sector or from the customers. And, with long-term relationships that these companies all and these industries all look at, I think that should be the order of the day. But looking long-term, I think that companies have to plan for risks that we have never had to think about, whether it's the semiconductor shortage, which no Indian company ever thought about because of this huge increase in semiconductors. But of course, more importantly is these kind of, natural risks and calamities that can befall us. This is the first time we've seen it. And what I'm very happy is that, the whole country has kind of come together to support each other and to work with each other to implement this. So I just want to thank.
So Amit, I agree with you. Right. I agree with you on that particular bit, and everybody is doing their bit. I want to understand, since we have you with us on the show, I want to understand the business specifics as well, Amit, if you can really give us some sense. Yes,
do you have any
it's good to be optimistic about the second half, and in fact, if you really... Yes. Yes. So, Amit, I just wanted to understand that, yes, we are all optimistic, and the future trajectory as well as the expected recovery is what is also fueling the equity markets right now. But I just want to understand that while the health experts are expecting a third wave, in that eventuality, if the recovery is a little later, given the present circumstances, as a sector leader, do you foresee any challenges at the moment, and what do you see on the ground, Amit?
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge will be business continuity. I don't think there are financial challenges because as a company, we are very strong financially, and a large part of our business comes from outside. But the first challenge and the biggest challenge and the biggest focus for us will be to look after our people and to ensure that they can work in a safe and healthy environment. So that is the biggest challenge. And what I was trying to say is that for the first time, I'm seeing various different organizations, like government organizations like DRDO, working with private organizations on a war footing to develop products that are immediately needed in supporting the healthcare sector. Like I mentioned, that oxygen cylinder we're doing. And it's amazing. In a matter of days, we've developed this.
Sure.
And this is something which should now become a template for how we address, let's say the governmental sector and the business sector working together to solve India's problems. The other thing that we're doing, and the last thing I will say, is that we're also transforming our organization. We're doing a lot of strategic projects so that we can become more future ready, we can become more nimble, faster, and be able to adapt to this kind of a new normal.
Yes, yes. Thanks, Amit, for mentioning that, because agility is the name of the game. That is the most important aspect. Given whatever situation may be, you should be able to adopt and adapt to that. Bhargav Dasgupta, your sector plays a very critical role when it comes to hospitalization. Also, in the COVID era, we have seen that insurance companies and hospitals have gotten into a lot of disputes when it comes to the patient's claims and insurance claims. How do you see this particular situation? What is the resolution to that? And of course, IRDA also took a very major step in stating that in 60 minutes, the cashless hospitalization needs to be done. What is also the impact on your profitability and the company's performance because of this?
Yeah, that's absolutely right, Nisha. So, before I get to the impact on, profits, etc., I think the first point that I will make is that, and like all of us, we understand and really respect the effort that our medical fraternity, our doctors and nurses and our frontline workers are, the effort that they're putting in. And that's something that we have a lot of, regard for. Unfortunately, there has been some disputes, and, let me, put that in context. I think the dispute is largely with some some hospital practices and some hospital administrators, while we really understand the work that the doctors and nurses are putting in. And let me explain the challenge. So if you look at the insurance model, the insurance model is a risk pooling model, right? We take a small amount of premium from a lot of people, and a few percentage, out of a pool of, let's say, 100 people, maybe 3 or 4 people fall sick, and they claim a large amount. And that's what is supported by the small premium that we collect from many people. That's the model. So insurance model traditionally fails for pandemic, because in a pandemic, it is not only 2 to 3% of the people who will claim, it will be a large proportion of people who will claim. So if you see globally, a lot of markets, insurance companies have refused to pay anything to do with pandemics, including in this round. So insurance, even health insurance hasn't paid for COVID claims.
Yes.
In India, the insurance industry, I believe, has been much more responsible. And they took a decision, and IRDA, rightly so, said that all insurance companies must take care of the COVID claims, hospitalization claims. Now, when it comes to hospitalization, the challenge that the industry has had is that while we want to support and pay the claims, we've had very different practices among hospitals in terms of the billings that we've seen. And we've had situations where people have given us bills which we believe are exorbitant. And when you push back, because at the end of the day, a patient or a customer has a sum insured of, let's say, 500,000 rupees. If the whole amount is getting consumed, in our opinion, inappropriately in one healthcare incident, what happens to the rest of the family? What happens to a second ailment that the person may have for the rest of the year? So it is, we believe, our responsibility to support our customers and keep the charges reasonable. And that's where there's been a bit of a dispute. So one of the things that the industry did, along with the hospitals, in the last wave, is that we came together and we said, can we agree on a treatment protocol? A treatment, with a ventilator or a ICU or a normal treatment per day, this is the charge that we'll pay. Now, a large proportion of the hospitals have agreed, and there it's largely going smooth. A lot of hospitals haven't agreed, and there are some of these disputes that happen. When IRD came up with this, advisory of 60 minutes as an industry, in fact, it came, late April, early May. On 2nd of May, which was a Sunday, the CEOs of the industry came together and we came outside and that we will support this. But we also requested the hospitals to do three things. One, to give all the bills together at one shot, rather than giving it piecemeal. Second was to keep the charges reasonable, for the reason that I explained. And we are very happy to pay, whatever the state government or different agencies have decided as a fair cost. We are very happy to pay that. And third, we've given another request, because a lot of hospitals are aware that next day someone will be discharged. If you could get the information the previous day, we could process the papers. Let's understand, we also are going through the same challenges as everyone else.
No. I understand that, Bhargav Das Gupta, because you're also working. Yes, you're also working, and you're having this whole deluge of requests coming in. So handling
and
that with work from home,
we also
and
have some
a lot of employees may be sick. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure. No, every leadership team is handling that and dealing with that lack of resources as well. Sure. We are running out of time, unfortunately, but general insurance companies, not just from the health side, but from also auto claims and auto renewals would be one thing to be watched out for. But thank you so much, gentlemen, Amit Kalyani as well as Bhargav Das Gupta, for spending time and giving us details on your fight against COVID. And we wish you a very, very healthy and safe period to the entire family of Kalyani Group as well as ICICI Lombard from CNBC TV 18. Thank you so much and take care. With that, it's a wrap. Thanks to all the viewers for joining us.